Hey everyone, I'm Stacy. I'm here to just do a little overview and welcome session for you guys. So thank you for tuning in. First off, I'm just going to kind of go over a little bit of basic stuff. Most of you will probably already know this from your mentoring sessions, but it might be a good review. I have a few slides I'm just going to go through. It should take maybe 10 minutes or so. And then I will do some Q&A for you. And I can stick around until 11:45. So as long as questions are coming in on the little Q&A side, I will answer them. So if you're not seeing it on the right side, make sure on the left side that you click that little speech bubble that says Q&A, and that should pull up a thing on the side where you can type in your questions. I'm not seeing any yet, so I'm assuming that you guys are just not typing them yet. So I'm going to do a screen share here and show you guys the slides. We had some tech issues with it before, so if you're not able to see it, don't worry. It's mostly things that I'm saying that you need to know. So if you can't see the actual slides, that's totally okay too. But let me pull that up for you. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and play this as if you're seeing it. Feel free to let me know in the questions if you are or aren't, but I'm probably not going to see it until I'm done. So just going to go through these for you. So first off, welcome to Lyft. Super excited to have you guys. Just going to go over a little bit of Lyft culture and community, day in the life of a Lyft driver, and just a few little pro tips. So Lyft is your friend with a car. We're generally cheaper than a cab and a lot more fun, and we are a community movement. We aim to delight our passengers with service. We present a best friend mentality in the car, encouraging passengers to sit up front, or not. They definitely don't have to. Sometimes you'll get passengers who want to sit in the back seat, and that's fine too. So no stress if they don't sit up front, but we definitely encourage it. We play good music for our passengers, and we also allow them to DJ. If you guys haven't gotten your welcome kits yet, you do get an auxiliary cable in those welcome kits that you can plug into your car and have your passenger plug in their phone if they want to play their own music, which is really cool. We offer a charge. A lot of drivers will pick up some extra phone charging cables, and that way when your passengers get in the car, you can offer to charge their phone, which is definitely a lifesaver in some cases. I've definitely been saved by my Lyft drivers time and time again. And just remember basics such as smiling and driving safely. Fist bumps are definitely a part of the Lyft way, just a bit of an icebreaker. It's part of the Lyft culture, and we definitely encourage you guys to do it when your passengers enter and exit the car. It's just a fun icebreaker, kind of sets the tone for the ride and puts your passenger in that friendly state of mind, which is a really great experience for everyone in the car. I also make sure to fist bump everyone that's in the ride. So if you do have a full house and you've got passengers in the back seat, it's always a good idea to give them fist bumps too. So just a couple little tips. Don't squeeze extra people in your car. You'll often find on Friday, Saturday nights, those weekends, big groups of friends. They might have 5 people and you only have 4 extra seats, and they really want you to try to squeeze in their friend, but just don't do it. Let them know that it's against the law and you can only take as many people as you have seatbelts in your car, and it's just not safe. So safety is key. Leave your puppy at home, and this goes for friends, parents, kids, anything like that. You want to make sure that all of your seats are available for the chance that you will have a full house. Make sure that everyone buckles up. Just always encourage your passengers to have their seatbelts on. If you're in any kind of fender bender, do call our support team. We have a critical response line for accidents and other emergencies. Keep the conversation positive when you're chatting with your passengers, and be perceptive, because sometimes you'll get passengers that like it quiet. We definitely encourage you guys to have a fun experience and generate conversation, but every once in a while you're going to get someone who just wants a quiet ride, or they're on a phone call, or maybe they're just really busy and they need to check their emails on their phone, or they just want to zone out. So just try to be perceptive and tailor each ride to what that particular passenger may need. Expressing yourself is definitely something that I love to encourage our drivers to do. This is my favorite thing about Lyft. And we really encourage you guys to be creative and express your personalities in your car. And that's going to mean something entirely different to every single driver. So we've got really extravagant themed Lyft cars, which are really awesome, but there are really simple ways for you to express yourself. The example on this slide is Cindy. She's one of our first drivers ever, and she's still a driver to this day. She's really awesome. She uses pink Post-it notes with positive motivational quotes and affirmations to better people's day. And she also offers organic sugar-free chewing gum for passengers. And she's actually a yoga teacher outside of Lyft, so you can see how she's really expressing her own personality in her car, and it's really awesome. We highly encourage you guys to do that. If you want suggestions, let me know. I will be happy to give you some, because I really love when drivers go above and beyond in this particular way. So we do, as I mentioned, have a phone number for support issues that are emergencies. So make sure you're only using that if you're in any sort of accident or you have a regulatory issue or some sort of safety concern. Otherwise, we have this really awesome help center. If you go to lyft.com/drive/help, you can search there for a very, very extensive and detailed FAQ. But if you can't find the answer to your question, there's also a link on the bottom that says contact us. And this is how you can reach out to us directly. And using that form is really great because it'll filter your response or your question to the correct team so that we can respond to you as quickly and efficiently as possible. If it's something that's going on with the app, just try to take screenshots whenever you can. That's really helpful for us to see what you're seeing. A couple of top support issues that we hear about from drivers. If you're having troubles with the app freezing, just try force quitting the app. Also try force quitting any apps that may be running in the background. Sometimes just shutting off and turning your phone back on helps. Sometimes going as far as uninstalling the app and reinstalling it can help as well. Lost and found is definitely another thing that we hear a lot about. We made it a little bit easier for passengers and implemented an option on their ride receipt where they can get in touch with their driver if they think that they've left something in your car. But if you find something and maybe you haven't heard from the passenger yet, give it a couple days, maybe they'll reach out to you. If not, definitely use that contact us link and reach out to support and let us know any information you know about which passenger it might have been. If you're not quite sure, maybe just let us know when you were on the road, and that'll help us narrow it down. And then connectivity is another top support issue. Sometimes you'll see something pop up on the app saying that you have poor connectivity. So try not to stress out. Just move. Sometimes it's as simple as relocating. One thing that always helps me is toggling airplane mode. So if you just put your phone on airplane mode and then turn it off, it kind of refreshes all of your connections, which can really help. And if you have persistent problems and any of these workarounds don't help, just definitely take screenshots and email support, because they're here to help you out. Ratings, because they matter a lot. Let's talk a little bit about ratings. Most of your passengers are going to rate you 5 stars. As long as your average is above a 4.8, you're doing great. We try to be really transparent on your driver summaries to let you know how you can improve if maybe you're not doing so well. Anytime a passenger rates you 4 stars or lower, they're presented with 4 different options for areas of improvement, and that's safety, friendliness, cleanliness, and navigation. So they can check one or multiple of those if they think that any of those are the areas in which you need improvement, and those are the common things that will cause a passenger to get a lower rating. And then just a little FYI, 3 stars or lower means you won't be matched again. So this works both ways. If you rate a passenger 3 stars or lower, you won't be matched with them ever again. Or if they rate you 3 stars or lower, you guys will never be matched as driver and passenger again. So just a little good thing to know. Here's just a couple tips to maximize your Lyft loot. So drive during peak hours. This is going to vary a bit from city to city, but it's generally the same. As far as weekdays go, you want to try to drive during those morning and evening commute times, and then late nights on weekends, Friday and Saturday night, and then during the day on the weekend is great too. Accept every request you receive, so only be in driver mode if you're ready to accept every ride request that comes your way. go above and beyond for passengers, which again, this can be done in so many different ways, and you guys will find your own unique creative ways to do so. Use navigation, definitely important. It's the #1 thing that passengers will rate drivers low for, is if they feel like you haven't, efficiently gotten them to where they're going. So always use navigation. And wait in optimal locations. So this will depend on your city, but you'll probably have an idea of where the busiest places are going to be. So if you've got maybe like a downtown stretch of bars, that's going to be a good spot on the weekend to hang out. In San Francisco, we have the financial district and Soma districts, which are busy during those morning and evening commute times. So definitely talk to fellow drivers in your city if you're not quite sure where that might be, but I think you guys will probably have the best idea because you guys are the local experts. So just a couple things to avoid. Never accept cash. Everything as far as payment goes is done through the app. If a passenger is maybe trying to tip you in cash, just show them how they can do it in the app. It's really easy. Just let them know it's against our terms of use to accept cash, and you will happily show them how to do it in the app. Don't request tips. So we definitely don't make passengers feel obligated to tip, but some of them will if they feel they received exceptional service. So definitely just let that happen if it's going to happen, but don't put anyone in an awkward situation where they feel obligated. Don't accept personal calls while you're in a Lyft, and only accept rides that come to you from within the app. So sometimes, people start to know that pink mustache is someone who could potentially give them a ride, and they'll try to flag you down and hail you like a taxi, but don't pick up people that way. Only accept rides that come to you through the app. So driver mode can be accessed by the steering wheel on the top right-hand corner of the app, and you can also go to the menu and toggle driver mode there. There's like a little on and off button. Obviously use this for when you want to start driving and when you want to stop driving, but also use it anytime you're taking a break. So even if you're making a quick pit stop for gas or a quick bathroom break, just make sure that you are switching out of driver mode when you're doing that. You should only be in driver mode if you're in your car behind your wheel ready to go. And inside your car, make sure you've got your phone mounted and charging. You guys do receive a phone mount in your welcome kit, but you don't get your welcome kit shipped out to you until you've completed 30 rides. So make sure that you pick up one on your own. It's important to be hands-free for safety reasons. And make sure you've got your phone charging, because having that app running is definitely going to eat your battery. And then just make sure your car is clean inside and out. Make sure your seats are clear and free of clutter. Make sure there aren't things on the floor. And also make sure your trunk is cleared out. It's okay to maybe have a couple things in there, like I keep a first aid kit in mine, a couple little basics like that, but make sure it's clean and organized and empty enough that if you get a passenger that perhaps has luggage, that you'll have space for them. As I touched on briefly earlier, navigation is super important. When you do accept a ride request, make sure you use the navigate button to get to your passenger, and then switch back to the Lyft app upon arrival and tap to arrive, and your ride will begin shortly after that. And then it's always good to use navigation again when you're going to the passenger's destination. And then after a ride, these are actually super old screenshots, so the app is going to look a lot different to you now, but it's the same process basically. So the passenger is going to rate you and submit the payment, and then you're going to rate and submit at the end of the ride on your side as well. And just a little note about referral bonuses. So many cities do have a referral bonus. If you log into your driver portal at lyft.com/login, there's a section on the left-hand side where you can click referrals, and that'll tell you if there's a referral bonus for your city and how much it is. And you'll also have your personal referral link in that section, as well as on your email summaries. So the way to get a referral bonus is your friend has to apply using your personal referral link. That's first off the only way. They have to have clicked on your link and applied through that page that it brings them to, because that'll be how we can track it to you. Additionally, they have to complete 20 rides within 30 days. And then as long as there is a referral bonus in the city in which they applied in, you'll both receive that bonus. And again, if you're not sure, just check that referrals tab in the portal. So those are just a couple little basic things I wanted to review for you guys. Let me get out of this slideshow here for you. Okay. Someone said, it looks like you are a YouTube video. Are you live? Yes, I am live. I think there's sometimes a bit of a delay, but I am live. It is 11:18 a.m. in San Francisco, and I'm here talking to you guys. So it looks like that's the only question in here right now. As I mentioned, sometimes there's a delay, so often I'll be seeing someone's question like 5 minutes after they submitted it, so I'll maybe give you guys a few minutes to throw some in there. I did see that some people left questions as comments in the beginning. Oh, here's one, Celeste. Let me pull hers up. Hi, Celeste. Celeste says, I did a lot of driving in prime time last week. I noticed that tips are almost non-existent because the fares are so much higher, but Lyft's commission stays at 20%. So last week my total tips were 28, but Lyft's fee was 62. That's kind of discouraging. Okay, I'm not sure what your actual question is. I think you asked another question about prime time. That's actually what I was going to say before I saw your question. Is I saw that there were some questions that people had left as comments before I started, so I wrote a couple of them down. Celeste, if you have a question about your particular driver pay, reach out via that contact us link that I was telling you about. It'll go to our pay@lyft.com team. Just reach out to them, let them know what question you have. It's kind of hard for me to answer like questions that are specific to individuals for this Hangout. I just want to make sure that we cover things that are going to apply to everyone. But I think it was you who asked this other question, so let me just go over that. You were asking how to, it's also related to prime time, so I figured it relates to the question you just asked, but you asked how to use the heat maps that you guys see in the back, how to more efficiently use those. I think you were talking about how sometimes you'll see like a pink square that maybe it's prime time somewhere and you head that way and then maybe it goes away. So prime time is super dynamic, right? It can switch on and off at any moment, and now that it's localized, you know, it can be on in one area, off in another area, and it can switch around a lot. It's based on demand. So when there's a super high volume of passengers requesting lifts and maybe not enough drivers in that area, that's when prime time is going to kick in. It's still a good idea, even if you head that direction and maybe prime time goes away. Not the end of the world. I think it's still a good idea to head to those areas because it's still going to give you a clear indication of where the majority of passenger requests are coming from and where it's busier. So you're much more likely to get rides in those areas, even if prime time might switch off before you get there. So still a good idea. So hopefully that helps you understand how to use those better. Also on those comments, Don had a very good question, and I was going to talk about this even if no one asked about it. So Don said that he watched the Lyft Live Google Hangout on Air that we did with John Zimmer and some drivers last week, I think it was, and that somebody said there was a fix for drivers who signed up with their phone number instead of Facebook who wanted access to the Facebook lounge. I'm really, really sorry for the miscommunication, but that's actually not fixed yet. We are working on it, which is where the confusion came in. We do want to give all drivers access to the Facebook groups, but if you don't sign up with Facebook right now, you're not able to access them. But we are working on it, and I hope it's something we can change soon. I don't have an actual ETA for you, but hopefully that clarifies. I'm sorry for the miscommunication on that. Juan also asked how to place a phone call to our performance team. If you were watching, Juan, I did mention we only have a phone line for emergencies. So if you do need to reach the performance team, you can just email them directly at performance@lyft.com. Or like I mentioned, that contact us link on the Help Center, that gives you some different options to choose from, and that'll help send your email to the correct team, but it sounds like you know which team you need to talk to already. So, and then Manny asked if we were going to have tolls integrated into fares. So that's not something that we have right now. It's a really awesome idea. but it's not implemented within the charge that the passenger is going to receive. However, you do get reimbursed for tolls, so just wanted to make sure you know that. And you just email pay@lyft.com a receipt, or if you've got like a fast track maybe and you have a statement, just make sure you indicate which ride or rides were done while in a Lyft, and that way we can verify. This is also on our help center too, so if you go to lyft.com/drive/help, that'll show you. Just type in tolls and that'll bring up the FAQ for it. We got a question asking, what is the critical phone number, please? I don't know it off the top of my head by heart, but go to that help center I just mentioned. It's lyft.com/drive/help. And then in the search bar, I would type in contact, and then an FAQ will pop up that says how to contact Lyft. And if you go to that, that will have a list of all the different teams that you can reach to, and then it'll also have the phone number listed there. Excuse me. All the talking makes me thirsty. Okay, so Don has a question. Don says, do you have to be in the hot zone, or does your ride have to be in the hot zone to get credit? I'm thinking you're asking about prime time. Correct me if I'm not understanding your question right. It's a little unclear, but in order for you to receive prime time, the passenger who requested the Lyft has to be in a prime time zone. So it's a little hard for you to know for sure if a ride is going to be prime time while you're in the middle of the ride or while you're accepting it. But whenever you've completed a prime time ride, you will always get a text message right afterwards to let you know that that ride was prime time. So you're much more likely to be in a prime time ride if you are in one of those hot zones, but it depends on from where the passenger is requesting. So hopefully that helps. There you go. Celeste just put in the number for you, the person who asked. 855-865-9553. That's actually really easy. I should probably memorize that. But anyway, there's Celeste. Thank you, Celeste, for throwing that in there. But as I mentioned, there's that awesome page on our help center that shows all of the contact info, so if you ever need to reach out, and you can also save that number in your phone. And just to reiterate, it is for emergencies only, so if you are calling and it's not an emergency, they're not going to be able to help you. We need to keep it open. We've got almost 70 cities of drivers and passengers, and we have to keep it open when there are accidents, regulatory issues, or any other kind of safety issues, anything that's an emergency. Cool, so I'm gonna go back to our little question page here and just make sure there isn't anything I missed. Looks like I got all the ones that were commented in the beginning, and I don't have any new ones right here. See, St. Clair says thank you to Celeste for the phone number. Thank you again, Celeste. So it looks like only a few of you are watching right now if Google Hangouts is active, which is a huge drop in how many we've had previously. So maybe we need to do some more reaching out to you guys. I usually have a ton of questions by this point, so I'm just going to kind of give you guys a few minutes and see if you think of anything else, and if not, I'll let you go early. I would love to hear from you guys about how your Lyft experiences are going so far. So if you do want to share anything fun, feel free to put it in there. Maybe you've had like a favorite ride so far, a cool story. Definitely share. I would love to know. Also, were you guys able to see the slides? I would love for someone to put that in a question. If you were able to see the slides, how the sound quality is. I usually try to go to a room that's a little bit soundproof, but I'm not in one right now, so hopefully you guys could hear me okay. And then additionally, if the content on the slides was helpful for you guys, or if you felt like it was like, oh, I already know all this. Just ignore my face for a minute. I'm just looking to make sure I didn't miss any questions on the Google Hangouts page. Yeah, we went over Don's and Celeste's question and Juan's and Manny's. Tim answered Manny's for him. Thank you, Tim. All right, Celeste. Celeste has a question. Is there any conversation about giving us information about where a rider wants to go? I picked up a couple last weekend and they wanted to go way north and I live south and it was the end of the day. If I had known where they wanted to go, I might have not. It looks like your question got cut off. No, we would I think it's very unlikely that we have accepted it and taken the date. Okay, so it's very unlikely that we would present to you the passenger's final location before you actually pick them up for a couple reasons. One, this would make it required for passengers to input an address, and sometimes they don't want to do that. Sometimes they just want to, hit request right away and get the driver on the way, or maybe they're still making some final last minute plans with a friend while they're waiting for you to come and maybe they don't know the exact location yet. Additionally, we don't want that to happen. We don't want drivers to not accept rides because of where the passenger is going. Drivers, if you're in driver mode, you should be prepared to accept every ride that comes your way. We don't want people to, not accept a ride because maybe it's not very far and it's not going to be a really high charge amount. We want you guys accepting rides as long as you're in driver mode, and you should be accepting rides without discrimination as long as you're in driver mode. If you do, if it's towards the end of when you're planning on stopping driving and there's a chance that someone might be going somewhere far away and you're not going to have time, then it's best to just get out of driver mode right then and there, because we don't want anyone, canceling on someone once they find out where they're going, because that's not the kind of experience we want to provide to passengers. Good question. Thank you for asking, Celeste. Looks like it came in 2 parts because it was kind of long, but I got what you meant. All right, guys, it looks like I don't have any other questions coming through, so I'm just going to peace out early. Thank you guys for participating, and hopefully the little basics that I went over was helpful for you, and hopefully you got some answers to your question. And I do tend to do this weekly, so you'd have to see the same slideshow that I went through, but if you do think of more questions, you can always come back same time, same place next week. Thanks so much for joining, guys. Bye.